All right, a little quickie for you since we haven't done anything in a while. Started to build a camper in the truck, and if you watched a video a couple times, 3 videos ago maybe, it was the Super Duty that I picked up around Thanksgiving. So I have a shell coming in. It should be here next week. Mid-rise ARE shell. It's the MX series, and that'll give me quite a bit of space to build a sort of on-the-go camper. So I started putting together some ideas for the power system, and probably you've already seen the big battery behind me. That's an SOK 206 amp hour lithium battery. It's a 12 volt model, and it's good for about 2600 watt hours, which is, it's just a big battery. Ended up finding that on the Facebook, as I find most of my deals. Paid about 600 bucks for it, so ended up getting quite a good deal on that, and it was brand new in the box. So you'll see those big 1-0 gauge wires hooked to the next thing, which is actually an Expertpower 2000 watt inverter charger. And so what happens when you get a big ass battery like this is you got to figure out how you're going to charge it, because you want somewhere near 40 volts at like 14.34 volts. And most of the chargers that you have, I actually ended up buying down here. One of these WFCO model chargers are actually only good for SLA batteries, right? They just don't put out the right voltage. It needs to be a little bit higher to take advantage of the full capacity of like the lithium iron battery. So anyway, long story short, ended up getting into this for way more than I expected. So I paid about 430 bucks for the Expertpower. It was used. When it came, I thought it was defective, but there was really just a hot neutral reverse on the onboard outlets. So I fixed that fairly simply, swapped some cables around inside. And the low frequency inverter was really buzzy under a very specific load that I usually use to test. It's actually like a heat gun. So anyway, long story short, I thought this was defective, but I've tested it with every other load at the same exact amp output. And I cannot reproduce that low frequency buzz, so I'm actually thinking I'm just going to hold on to it. And the reason I started taking this video today, I thought this was really interesting, is I ended up ordering, you'll see that wire down to one of these Midea 6000 BTU. I think they're 5000 BTU, and they're rated slightly differently for SEER versus, I don't know. It's a 5,000 or 6,000 BTU portable air conditioner, and it's really small. It's like 12 by 12 by 25. So the intent is to put this in the back, vent it out the pass-through window so that we can cool off that cap, because once summer hits here in about a month, Michigan, it will be quite warm, and sleeping in the back of that thing without some sort of temperature control is probably going to be impossible. So yeah, we got friends here. So basically wanted to see if this thing would start on the SOC battery connected through the Expertpower, and long story short, it does, which is super exciting. I was expecting that the locked rotor current of the compressor was going to cause the BMS to trip. The BMS on the SOC batteries is good for about 100 continuous amps, and they say peak amps can hit 200 for 5 or 6 seconds max. So I was really concerned that even though I bought the smallest possible portable air conditioner here, that I was going to end up with a problem of starting it, right, without some sort of soft start. But that's not the case, which is awesome. I did see a brief spike on the BMS output amperage reading. There's actually an app that hooks up to this thing, because it's Bluetooth, of course it is. And it showed a brief spike to somewhere close to 180 amps, but it was just instantaneous. And as soon as the compressor gets turned over, it drops back down to just like 60 amps, which is still crazy. It is still a lot of power that you're putting through this thing, but it is running through the Expertpower at about 700 watts at full speed. So I think we've got a real working system here. I don't intend to run the air conditioning in the cap for long periods of time on the battery, right? It's just unrealistic. But what I do want to try is to plug it into my small inverter generator. I got a 2500 watt inverter generator. So just wanted to go show you a quick video here. I thought this one was interesting. If you guys are nerding out on these LiFePO batteries like I've been lately, they are absolutely awesome. They pack a ton of punch. This thing's built in like an ammo can essentially, and they're really, really powerful. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for checking us out.